The things you wanted to change about your father?
My father?
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, why would you want to change anything about anyone? I'm saying that today when I'm 57. I didn't feel that when I was at your age. But honestly, the only thing I can think of is I wish he'd spent more time with us.
Right.
But after having been through that phase where you're intensely involved in, growing your business, you're on a very steep learning curve. I pretty much understand his predicament. It is about how do you balance time between work and family. It's as simple as that. Other than that, I don't think that I would have liked him to be, different in any way. I don't see why. What would you have liked? I know it's still a little raw for you, but anything about your dad that you would have liked to be different?
Yeah, I feel like it is a bit raw because it's not been a year yet. But I feel like I would wish for him to have been more transient in his belief systems, even more than he already was. Like you
Tell
said
me
about,
how that's quite deep, Nikhil.
Yeah.
So in what way?
He was unwilling to change many of the belief systems that were inculcated into him very early. And I think he would have been a happier person if he had allowed for them to change. Like, I can really go into this.
For example?
Even the construct of marriage or the traditional societal construct of marriage. I feel like another version of it might have made it better for him. I don't mean another person, but another version. A lot of the things in life are not voluntary choices that we are making.
They can't be.
Yeah. Reason in itself is not organic. I feel like the world tells us what is right or wrong. And we conform more often than not because not conforming is a lot more work than conforming. And I think he did conform in many ways. And I wish he kind of questioned not his choices, but societal norms more so he could have made choices.
So would that have impacted your and your brother's life in a different way? Or
it might have, but I feel like...
You think he would have been a happier person? Is that is that the space you come from?
Yeah. I feel like we wrongly take the burden of responsibility for things that we actually don't control, but we think we can control. If each person finds what makes him happy and he's true to that, I would suspect the other people who love him will be happier by virtue of that.
Yeah. That's a deep one again. Yeah. No, actually, when I think about it, the only thing that made my dad worry about me was the fact that I didn't always conform. And that sort of, got him really worried, especially when it came to airing my opinions about people most often. He didn't think it was a good idea to have strong views on people, issues and situations, especially in the family or in a home context. And I was always very liberal with my views. That's just the DNA, I guess, that I've been born with. And he was always a little on the edge because of that. A little careful about, what is he going to say next. And I wasn't particularly, careful about who I'm saying something to. If I didn't agree with you, I could be pretty opinionated and come across as being, very apparent that I don't agree. That could be a relative, that could be a guest, it could be a friend of the family's. That's something that he couldn't quite understand.
Right.
Conforming is something that it is a very sort of double-edged sword, right? So you have to kind of strike a balance, I think. The pressure to perform or conform on your generation is much less than it was on us.
But to my
which
generation,
I think is, huge.
But I think my generation being woke is also conforming to being woke. I don't think anybody has thought deeply enough about the contrarian viewpoints of the prior generation that we are taking. We are woke today because it's cool to be woke.
So you're saying that being woke is not really rooted in, actual belief about something. It's just about being cool and going with the tide.
Yeah.
I think you'll always have a majority of people who are like that. That's something that's not going to change. Not in your generation, not in the generation after that. But I think that not being able to conform in some ways, it gives you more choices, right? I mean, it gives you more latitude in the choices you make about, say, career, about so many things. Life is much easier when the need to conform is much lower.
Yeah. It's like wine. Every year of wine, a certain vintage of wine has a certain characteristic. I feel like the mask of wokeness is my generation's characteristic. And the default setting is the mask. And it's the easier setting, so nobody really has to question why we are woke.
Yeah, but I think that with people you interact with, fairly closely, the mask will always fall. If someone's advocating something just to be woke and not because they believe in it, that mask always falls. And, a lot of people, most people want to conform. They want to be part of the crowd and swim with the tide. So that's not, I don't find that unusual.
Is there something...
What are you woke about? You
what is the mask I've put on?
Not the mask. What do you actually woke about deeply? If
what
anything.
I really care about? I feel like a lot of successful people like yourself would have thought a certain thing at a certain point of time in life and voiced it. It might be your family legacy. It might be the tenets of the Birla family. And with time, we buy into this philosophy so deeply that we lose all ability to tweak, nudge, change it. If people were allowed to change their minds more often without judgment, is something I think will help humans evolve faster. If I believed in something 5 years ago and I changed my mind about it drastically today, the term society would give it is hypocrisy. The real term that should be attached to it, I think, is evolution. And we should be all more welcoming of people changing their viewpoints and where they stand in society about different things. I think it just speeds up the rate of evolution of society.
Yeah. I think that's a feeling that every generation feels. So if that makes you feel any better, I've never been someone who's overly concerned about what people say. In fact, that's, I grew up being told that, must be careful. Like I said, I was quite open about quite strong